Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith. Are they a true contender in the NFC, or are they a pretender? We're only 2 weeks into this thing, but based off of history, they do look better, and they are better equipped for this season. When you look at the defense alone, and that has been the Achilles heel with the Seattle Seahawks over the last couple of years, you get a lot of questions to why they move on from Pete Carroll, why they bring in a brand new head coach in Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald right now is one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. He helped lead the Baltimore Ravens to having the top defense in the NFL last season. And we're starting to see him make an impact on the Seattle Seahawks right now with the halftime adjustments and the ability to go out there and just trying to contain and stop the run as a whole. The Seattle Seahawks rushing defense has been terrible, to put it lightly. They haven't been able to stop the run at all over the last few years. They just haven't been able to. And it starts with the defensive line up front. They have a lot of versatile chess pieces. That's why they selected Byron Murphy in the first round, who is going to be able to push the pocket and stop the run. You may look at him and say he's only a defensive tackle. That's not the case. He played edge rusher in Texas. He's played some edge already in the NFL against the Denver Broncos. And he played defensive tackle in that game as well. He's a versatile chess piece. He is going to be one of the most essential players on the Seattle Seahawks for years to come. He is going to be a great football player. But it's more than just him. They have Jaron Reed as well, who can play defensive end and can play some defensive tackles. You have Leonard Williams, who is very good in his own right at pushing the pocket, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback and stopping the run. Why is it an emphasis for the Seattle Seahawks to stop the run? You look at every team in this division. They have good running backs, including the Seattle Seahawks. They have two of them, Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III. But when you look at the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray can run the football, and so can James Conner. James Conner is a very good power back. He had over 1,000 yards rushing last season. You have the best running back in this division when he is fully healthy, and Christian McCaffrey. Part of the reason to why the San Francisco 49ers have been able to bludgeon the Seattle Seahawks over the last couple of years, they haven't been able to stop the run. And they have that zone rushing system that Kyle Shanahan has. People wonder why every running back that steps on the field with Kyle Shanahan always has success. It's because of that system. Pete Carroll has not been able to stop that system at all. Since Kyle Shanahan came into this division, even when they did not have Jimmy Garoppolo, the run game was solid, and they would gash the Seattle Seahawks over and over again. Pete Carroll could not adapt to the new offense to try to fix it. So he'll just stick to that old defensive way, and it got them dead in many a times. Now, Pete Carroll did a lot of good for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not going to make it seem like he didn't do anything well on the back end of his career. He did. He just could not adjust, and they wanted to get younger at the coordinator spot, and they wanted to go out there and get a brand new head coach. And I have no problem with that, especially when that coach is Mike Macdonald. You look at the rest of the defense. I think they're going to be in a very good situation as well. Uchenna Nwosu was injured last season, missed majority of last season dealing with a pec injury. But you look at him a couple of years ago, helped lead the team in sacks with Darrell Taylor, 9.5. He's a very good pass rusher. Darrell Taylor is no longer with the team. He doesn't really fit the system of Mike Macdonald, so they traded him to the Chicago Bears. But you look at other pieces. Derek Hall from Auburn, he can get to the quarterback as well. Pass rushing may be an issue, consistent-wise, and that's okay. As long as you have guys on the back end that can cover the wide receivers long enough, and they have that with Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen, two athletic, good corners. When I look at Tariq Woolen, he's a fast corner. He's physical at the line of scrimmage. Devin Witherspoon is a maniac because he will go back there. He will tackle a running back. You can send him on sacks to try to go out there and attempt to sack the quarterback on blitzes. You can go out there and you can put him on tight ends. He's a versatile chess piece to have in the secondary as well. And you look at that Giants game from last year, the Monday Night Football game, he was flying all over the field, and he will continue to do that as well. So your secondary looks very good. What hurt them last season was the fact that Jamal Adams was so terrible that he couldn't cover anyone. Well, he's no longer here. He's now with the Tennessee Titans. That's their problem. You now have Julian Love, who is a long-term starter now. He was their best cover safety last season. Quandre Diggs, you moved on from him. You now bring in Rayshon Jenkins, who also fits the system of Mike Macdonald. There may be a couple of games here and there that make you scratch your head because there's a lot of new faces, and these guys are still young. But as the season progresses, I expect for the defense to be even better. They beat the Detroit Lions last season with a bad defense. They almost made the NFL playoffs last season with a bad defense. And part of the reason to why they missed the NFL playoffs, they got swept by the Rams. The offensive line was not fully healthy. Now, I'm worried about Abraham Lucas because right now he is still missing time. Charles Cross is 100% healthy. going on the stretch without Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas. And the offense could not score. And Geno Smith was getting beat up as well because the offensive line play was not good. But yet Geno Smith still tried to go out there and he tried to play. I go back to the Monday Night Football game. Drew Lock goes out there. They won the game against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the game where Julian Love played out of his mind. But back to the offense. You have key pieces everywhere. You have a very good running game with Kenneth Walker III. If he can stay healthy, he could be a top running back in the NFL. You have Zach Charbonnet as well. Zach Charbonnet had 2 touchdowns against the Denver Broncos. He can be a receiving threat. Now, Zach Charbonnet is not as explosive as Kenneth Walker III, but that's okay. He's more so a guy that you put in on tough physical downs. Kenneth Walker III comes in, he offers you that speed and that getaway speed. And he's going to be a key piece with the Seattle Seahawks offense. What gives you a lot of confidence if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan? Look at what happened last week against the Patriots. The run game, it was a struggle. But Geno Smith went out there and he made key throw after key throw after key throw, and he took care of the football. Geno Smith is a very good quarterback. You buy him enough time with these wide receivers, he's going to go out there. He could put up 25 plus points in the game. Look at what he was able to do last year with a hurt offensive line. Now, they went 4 straight quarters last season without scoring an offensive touchdown. That's not going to happen this season. Shane Waldron was not a good offensive coordinator last year. He wasn't terrible, but he did not call plays up to the T and did not call plays up to the standard to get Jackson Smith and Jigba involved and DK Metcalf. You look at Ryan Grubbs. It's only been 2 games. He's the offensive coordinator from Washington. He helped develop Michael Penix Jr. You have DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett. This is one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL. You can make the argument that this is the best trio in the NFL. DK Metcalf is one of the best wide receivers in the game. He's built out of a lab. Tyler Lockett has yet to age. He is still phenomenal. He's going to go out there and get a toe tap every now and then that makes you just make you grab your hair and just be like, okay, what am I watching? He's a very good player to still have. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is developing into his own. And right now he is the number 2 wide receiver. That is just how good he is. You have Noah Fant as well at the tight end spot. I like the pieces that they have on the offensive end. This has been one of the most explosive offenses since Geno Smith took over as a starting quarterback. And they made the NFL playoffs in year 1 underneath Geno Smith. And year 2, if it wasn't for injuries, they would have went out there and made the playoffs yet again. But you can't go off of hypotheticals. This is the season right here for them to get right. And I do believe that they will make the NFL playoffs if they can stay healthy, especially on the offensive side of things. The defense just has to be a little bit better. Even dating back to year 1 underneath Geno Smith, the defense was still a struggle every now and then. They couldn't go out there and stop the run, and the pass game would get them in as well. With Mike McDonald, you hope that he can go out there and he can make things be better. And I do think that the Seattle Seahawks are a dangerous threat in the NFC. They still have a long ways to go because they have a lot of young football players on the defensive side of the ball, but that is okay. When I looked at linebackers as well, you brought back Bobby Wagner last season. He was a solid linebacker. He's no longer here. He is now with the Washington Commanders, and he's still holding up, by the way. But you bring in a guy like Jerome Baker, a very fast linebacker. He's going to go out there. He's going to do his thing as well. You have Terrell Dotson, a very good player coming over from the Buffalo Bills. He's a very good starter. And you look at Boye Mafe. He can bring a lot of pressure off the edge. I like him a lot as well. He gets into that conversation with Uchenna Nwosu and Jaron Reed in terms of going back there and putting pressure on the quarterback. And you also have a guy like Draymond Jones as well, who is a solid pass rusher. They have a good defense. They're just very young. They're going through the phases right now with a brand new head coach. I think the Seattle Seahawks will be fine. Their biggest test will be against the Detroit Lions in a couple of weeks. Then after that, it will be seeing how can they go against a team like the San Francisco 49ers if they're fully healthy. But they have to take advantage right now of the Los Angeles Rams dealing with those injuries. When they face the Rams, if those wide receivers are not fully healthy, they have to go out there and they have to win that game. You have to win games within your division. And I say this every single time. And I know last season ended. That was a long time ago. They got screwed against the Dallas Cowboys. If they go out there and they win that game, that's a potential +1 win. And the next thing you know, they walk into the NFL playoffs. But you're not going to be in that situation because right now, I do believe the Seattle Seahawks are a better team than the Dallas Cowboys. I also believe they are a better team right now than the Philadelphia Eagles as well. And they beat the Eagles last season with a backup quarterback and Drew Lock. They're better than some of the top teams in the NFC. Isn't it just going to come down to some of those teams that can really run the football in that West Coast system, like the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. And the Detroit Lions are still a tough test as well. Just because they beat them last season doesn't mean that they can just go out there and walk all over them this season either. And the Arizona Cardinals, say what you want. They look good, and they are a team on the rise in this division. So it's not going to be easy for the Seattle Seahawks, but I believe that they have the right pieces in play. You have a veteran quarterback in Geno Smith who always, when he is doubted, he rises to the occasion, and he wants a contract extension. You have those key pieces around him. I think Geno Smith goes out there and he looks like how he looked in the first season with the Seattle Seahawks. Not like how he looked last season dealing with all those injuries. But let me know in the comment section below, are the Seattle Seahawks a true contender in the NFC, or are they just a pretender? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.